What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Watchtime. Today, we got a very special episode here as we're going to be chatting to Lachlan about everything from his origin story to the Pokemon craze that we were talking about last week. A lot of interesting topics to get through. Lachlan, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, guys. Big fan of the Watchtime Podcast. First time here, and
an industry titan, especially when we're talking about team power.
Dude, honestly, can we start with that? I'm kind of mad about that. Like, can we talk about it?
We can talk about it.
I want to see what my friends think. I'll click on it. I swear I didn't even get an opinion. I watched the whole thing, and you guys didn't even say anything. And I was like, well, what's your thoughts? You know, you guys didn't even say anything. I was like, I think there was like one thing where you were like comparing it to like 100 Thieves has Nate shot to like it has like premise or something, and you said the same thing with like
I think there were two parts to it mostly. Part one was talking about like the OCE esports scene and sort of what the promise of that holds compared to like North America. And then the other part was, just the value behind creators starting orgs or starting brands in general, where there's certainly like a strength to starting something that is hopefully going to be even bigger than you as an individual, but also how hard is it to actually separate that thing from being, you know, like team power versus Lachlan Power's team.
Like separating the line. Yeah, no, I feel you.
I didn't go too strong in the opinion because I was like, look, it's just started. There's nothing to really say yet. We got to see where it goes. We got to see what you do with it.
That's true. I
actually think the one thing you guys did really well off the start was like branding, which obviously you've always done really well with like merch and everything. But I think like everything from like all your socials to all that's been super, super good. But you don't have a League of Legends team yet. So are you really an esports?
Dude, they got OPL.
Yeah, OPL, which for anyone who doesn't know is the like Australian League of Legends league. They like League of Legends was just like, it's Australia too small. We're not doing it anymore. They shut it down.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? And I guess like that gets into the first bit that we were talking about, where it's like the sort of the validity or how much potential OCE esports has.
Yeah, I think the other big thing is the young COVID as well, because that's gonna like really make it hard to like compete or go elsewhere. Like I see a lot of the players that got like from OCE that are like, looking for placement NA and stuff. Can they even leave Australia? Like,
nah,
I know they got to go play at Worlds. Like they got visas to play at Worlds I think it was in Shanghai, wasn't it? But yeah, like I don't know how, like, because we've been trying to get our players to play FNCS in other regions, like couldn't get it done. Like, Australia's not letting anyone leave.
But like, I mean, I guess you could always see it as like you use the next year when everything's locked down to kind of like build up your players, build up your teams, like build everything locally, so that then when travel opens back up, you can kind of like send it and actually go overseas.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely like that kind of like hibernation period, I think.
I realized I never asked you about this, but I don't even know if you wanted to talk about it. But are you planning on doing other games? Like, because right now, obviously, you guys are just doing Fortnite.
I can't say which ones because we haven't fleshed out the idea of it yet. But there is,
it's
definitely.
Dota.
There's
it's
one.
Definitely Dota.
It's not Dota. It's not Dota. But I would like to do that down the line. But it's not Dota. But there is one that's like I can't because I can't. We haven't even like approached the like scene properly yet to like understand how we would do it. So I don't want to be like, we're doing X.
The hot scoop.
On that note, with how you're talking about COVID making it difficult for players to go overseas and play, how, like, I guess when you were thinking about creating a team, you're obviously super passionate about Fortnite competitive play. But when you're thinking about the team as a whole, how important do you think the results of how a team performs in tournaments compares to actually just the value of creating a brand, creating a collective, having like something that your players are associated with that builds, you know, brand value in other ways, whether that be like sponsorships or like other original brands that you could do beyond that?
I definitely think like placements, like a big part of like why we did the initial like Fortnite team, like the overarching goal was like take players to the World Cup qualifiers in NA, get some spots there, hopefully win a World Cup. That was like the big goal, because that would be sick. Because like in the past World Cup, we got like 4 spots, I think, for the World Cup, or no, 13 over the 2 like modes, solos and duos, which is like not a lot, but it makes sense when you look at the player counts for each region. It makes sense, but it's just hard for the players because, like, I mean, Jordan had to come first to qualify in that solo. So, and coming first is so hard because that one game where you mess up a little bit and you're gone for your whole shot of the World Cup. So we're going to take them to NA or EU, whatever made the most sense, and get them out there and get a World Cup just for the hopeful chance of it. But I definitely think there's a lot of value in, you know, building that brand, building that collective around it. Because in the end of the day, like, esports results, like sport, they're not guaranteed. Especially, I feel like less guaranteed in like esports. Like, it's so in Fortnite, there's so many variables that you get headshot sniped. Like, and there's nothing, even the best players, your Benji Fishies, there's nothing you can do about that.
It's definitely something Elliott and I have spoken a lot about on the podcast, where we've looked at different orgs like 100 Thieves, you know, and their results aren't necessarily like top of their game, but they've clearly got so much brand value and brand loyalty behind them. And I think that's been something where we've come back to, like, do the results even actually matter? Like, is it about creating like something that people just care about and want to get behind, and personalities that people can get invested in?
Like, there's prize money associated with that. But for the most part, I don't even know how it works with most other orgs. But we don't really take a cut of the actual winnings of the players. We actually give more. We do like a kind of a system, kind of like we call it a bounty system, where like, our player gets first in a cash cup, we actually give them money on top.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, kind of like you get our name out there by, you know, having power in your name, getting first on the cup. Everyone sees that. Like, I see that as like promotion for the org. So it's like, hey, you're gonna get first in the cash cup. Here's a little bonus cash on top.
That's super interesting. I haven't heard of other orgs doing that. I mean, I think, like, from my understanding, it's certainly been the opposite. It's like people will take a cut of the earnings.
I think initially, like, I actually think it's a hallmark of a better org when they do go that route, because I think that I think the mistake a lot of orgs make is they go in with a very short-term view. It's easy to do early on, where you're just kind of like, oh, we're here to like maximize the cut we can get from potentially getting someone into that $1 million prize pool, and then taking 70%.
And that happened with the World Cup. Like, so many people like signed when they qualified, and then they got snipped 20%, and it was a bit of a problem.
100%. But but I think the real like value, like the real long-term play, is when you're doing stuff like basically just trying to, because I think the orgs that do well understand that really the play with esports isn't at all the short-term cash flow. Like, realistically, you're never going to be able to make, you know, the millions that people are looking when they're starting big companies out of just clipping 20-30% on prize pools. What you're really trying to build is the brand. And how do you build the brand? You build the brand by having, you know, the best players, the most passionate players, the most successful players who will, number one, you know, want to rep you and really love you and actually be like super proud to be part of the team. And then also be able to actually go out there and then perform and win tournaments with your brand in their name. And obviously, the more you can incentivize that, the more hard people are going to practice, they're going to train, they're going to try, and then the better they're going to do.
Yeah, and like that's the other thing as well, is like it's very hard for our players to find motivation in the Fortnite competitive scene when consistently the prize pool goes down every month instead of going up. Like, the FNCS prize pool is just going, like, they're getting a fraction. The trios prize pool for this season versus the one at the end of last year, I don't know the exact math behind on how less it is, but it's significantly less. I think each week finals was like back then the prize pool for each week finals at the end, not the grand finals, just the end of the week finals, was the same, I think, as the grand finals for this season. So it's like what they're fighting for the grand finals, they were fighting for every week last FNCS.
That's crazy. Why are they doing that, do you think?
They're not making as much money.
No, I think they're making really good money, especially with the Marvel collab. Yeah, I reckon Fortnite's doing really well. I'm actually surprised too. I don't understand.
Not to sidetrack, I've always wondered with those collabs though, like what the split is, like how it all pieces together. Yeah. Is Marvel paying Fortnite to feature their product? Is Fortnite paying Marvel to, you know, actually have the quote unquote honor of featuring their product in their, you know, kind of in their game? And I genuinely don't know, but I would love to know. Or if it's just like an agreed 50-50 split where they're both kind of doing well.
Your battle pass had Iron Man, had Thor, it had, I mean, I don't really know Doctor Doom and She-Hulk that much before it. Mystique.
Yeah.
Who else? It had one other big hitter. I think that was it for the Avengers. But like Iron Man in Fortnite. Come on now, like.
Oh,
that's
crazy.
Done
but also that like
numbers.
it builds the Marvel brand, right? Like you didn't know about Doctor Doom before. Now if there was like a Doctor Doom movie that comes out, you know what that is. So I don't know.
That's so true. I feel like that would be a smart thing for Marvel to do is now make a Doctor Doom movie because now everyone's like kind of introduced to him.
But
or Galactus. I think that was already in the plans though, a Galactus kind of movie, I think.
But at the same time, obviously, I think it comes back to the point that you're right. Epic's not probably struggling for money. They do have money for prize pools. I think maybe they've just realized that the prize pool isn't as essential to the overall success of the game. I think maybe they don't get me wrong. I still think esports is super important to Fortnite, but maybe they initially wanted to just like go in and be like, we're the biggest, we're the best, like bigger than league, bigger than everything.
It.
And then now they're kind of like,
value.
now they're kind of like, oh, do these 13-year-olds really need to be making like 10 grand a week to keep playing our game? Probably not. Hey, we can like cut that back a bit.
Same. Like the prize pool, the amount that these young kids have the ability to earn through these tournaments is nuts. It's like absolutely next level.
For being all online too, it's like back in the traditional day, they had to like fly out to an event, get a hotel, pay for the entry fee type stuff, like back in like those Halo COD days. And now it's all online from the comfort of your house.
And it would be like if you could break even playing esports, that would be considered like the craziest thing. If you got sent like a free mouse or a free headset, that was like the pinnacle of your career at a certain point. Like these days, it's not that, and not at all to say that like people aren't entitled to it and they shouldn't have it and that it's unreasonable. But like relative to what things were a few years ago, it's almost like funny watching people complain about how they can only make 10 grand a month playing Fortnite.
Well, like a lot of the Fortnite kids, like they're mostly kids, right? 13-year-olds. They don't know what they were like 6, 7 when that was a thing.
Yeah.
So like they don't know.
Yeah,
that
100%.
Is like kind of what they're used to have.
It's insane. It makes me wonder how like the parents of these kids, because they are mostly kids, deal with it. Because obviously to get to that point, it's not easy. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to go like win 10 grand a week or whatever, like playing these tournaments. It's like these kids are probably, I don't know how many hours a week they'd be training, but a lot, right? Like how do you as a parent have a 16-year-old who has the potential to literally be earning hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and tell them like, no, you have to do your homework right now, when they're like, Mum, I could literally win.
Hard.
Like, how do you handle that as a parent?
And like I've chatted to some of the parents of our players, especially like during the signing process and stuff, and most of them are like very supportive. They'll kind of let them do their own thing, but some of our players go to schools, some of them don't, and it's kind of up to like how the player I think feels individually on like whether or not they want to go to school and keep that balance, which is like something I recommend to all of our players. Like some of our players are actually been going back to school, and I'm like fully for it. I'm like, like it's kind of unpredictable, the space, and I would even just say like school, like just from a social perspective, is something that I think it's very key for like kids of that age. And I feel like if you grow up just explicitly on the internet, that could be a bit interesting.
Yeah.
You kind of need that social human interaction.
Even as like someone who has like, quote unquote made it playing games, like I've all of us, we've been able to actually turn that into a thing. Still, if I had a kid, I would be like, no, you're going to school. Because there is like,
100%.
There is so much, like, don't get me wrong, there's also a lot of other factors involved, which I'm sure we'll go into when we eventually get to this whole origin story chat. But like, there is still a lot of luck involved in so many areas. Like you said, the fact you can get headshot sniped in a grand final, and that can be the difference between going home with nothing or going home with $3 million. Like, it's not the kind of thing that you can feel super, super confident on. And I think that's why it's always smart to have not only one, but probably several backups.
No, for sure.
So maybe that's a good place to take it back to Lucky when you were at school.
I want one last question on Team Power before we move on.
Okay.
Is there one thing that you didn't really anticipate being a difficulty, kind of when you initially were going to start an org, that you've kind of now realized, oh my God, this is actually like a really like difficult part of having a team?
Just organizing a lot of people at one time. Like,
yeah.
And you know what? And you can definitely relate to this one, but like just managing a lot of players at the one time for a recording, which could be pretty identical with like a click recording, in that just getting 5 to 6 people on at one time is harder than you think. And it sounds so like trivial, but when these like they have their scrims, they have their tournaments, those are the easy ones to avoid, but it's everything else because they all have like very bad sleep schedules. I have bad sleep schedules. That's just kind of how it is. That like just managing a lot of players at once and giving attention where it's needed for individual players is probably like one of the harder parts. And like as we grow bigger and bigger, that's going to be something that I have to work on a lot.
I think that's one of the things that like we certainly underestimated with Click and like even growing a business. It's just like you've got to be sensitive and be thinking about so many different people and personalities all the time. And and that's your role. And oftentimes those individual people probably don't understand the fact that like you care about them, but you also have to care about like 10 other people. And
then I got to get a daily upload and I got to stream. It's like, at the end of the day, I'm just like, oh, let's just go buy some Pokemon cards. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so we're going to save Pokemon cards to the end.
Yeah.
I know we definitely want to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
But let's take it back to talking of school, like when you were at school and like where your origins to how like you've obviously grown to an insane position now, but it hasn't been overnight. And like you've been doing it for a really long time, like maybe longer than a lot of people know pre-Fortnite. But how did that all start for you? Like how old were you when you uploaded your first video? Like what made you hit upload that first time?
So it's actually like interesting because the first upload on my channel, the Lachlan channel, which used to be called Craft Battle Duty when I first started. And the name for that was because I really liked Minecraft. I really like Battlefield. And I really like Call of Duty. So I put the 3 names together. And then later down the line, I was I don't want people. I was 7 years ago. I'm 25 now. I was 17, 16, I think, when I was thinking of the idea.
Craft Battle Duty. You know what? I don't not like it. I kind of pay it.
Yeah. No, but the thing was, people would call me Craft, and like I was like, I don't want to be called Craft. Like it just doesn't hit for me. So I was like, I want people to call me my name. So I'm just gonna rebrand my name. And like a lot of Americans and stuff, they didn't really know. Like, geez, even your boy Logan Paul, like Lachlan, like everyone calls me Lachlan because they look at it and they're like LACH.
So wait, do Americans not have the word Lachlan? I've actually never thought about this.
No, they don't. It's a very
really
Europe,
really
very common in Ireland. A lot of Lachlans, because like my Irish mates, they have like a lot of Lachlan friends, and even like maybe my last name I think is Irish as well. But yeah, like UK has a few of it as well, but very common in Australia. Like
I was gonna say,
you know?
I know so many Lachlans. It's so weird when you have a name. It's so weird when you have a name that's that common in your own area, and then just realizing that apparently that's just like not a thing in other countries.
Yeah,
but yeah, wow.
So it's weird. like when I think about it now, it's like you calling your channel Elliott, like calling your channel Grace, like being Sam and be like, hey guys, welcome to the Sam channel. Like,
but you know what? But you know what's weird? Every single like brand name or channel name sounds like the dumbest, stupidest thing ever until it isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like imagine
Craft
Apple.
Battle Duty is still a little. I don't
Okay,
know
look,
about
that was a good change. That was a good change. But like, imagine like Apple. Imagine the first guy who was like, oh yeah, like let's call it Apple. Like holding up an apple.
True.
You're like, bro, that's cooked. Like, get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
what do we pay? You're on the creative team. Like, leave. And now it's like the most just you don't even think about that. It's so natural.
That's so true.
Like
you build so much around it that it's just that's actually sick. And then branding is so awesome. And it's like, it's so legit.
Speaking of like lucky branding, it's like your 2 brands are Lachlan and then your last name Power.
I thought about that the other day.
Like,
I was like, damn, we really getting creative. My middle name ain't hot, so you don't expect anything there. Like,
there will not be a third brand.
I think one of the first channel names I made was like it was like Elite's X Productions or something. Like you can't find it now. I took the channel down ages ago, but like that was my first channel I ever made, and I was uploading like COD montages. So I had like a Dazzle, and I'd record myself playing Modern Warfare 2, and I'd go for trick shots and crossbow throwing knives and all that OG COD grind stuff. But like I was just like a big fan of everyone. Like used to watch like, geez, who was like big at the time? Like C9ers, Hutch, like a lot of the Machinima Respawn stuff. Trying to think who else, like Syndicate, Zombies, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. When you first started doing that, because you must have been pretty young, like what was did you have a vision for it, or were you just like, oh yeah, it doesn't look too hard, I could do that too?
I just loved like the creative process of like making a montage, and it's actually criminal that I haven't made a montage since those days. I've actually been thinking about making like a Fortnite montage just to like run it back. But like I just loved the creative process of like getting a song into like Sony Vegas at the time. And it was like you look for like the bits of the music where like the beat drops. You try to sync it, and you try to sync that with a shot. And it's like I loved that kind of aspect to it, and like it's just like that creative process was always fun.
That's interesting because that's like 100% what got me into like YouTube early on as well. Was the like it was literally I was like addicted to the editing more than I was the games. Like the actual like creative process was like the best thing. I remember I used to be ADHD on syncing because remember when people had outros? Like no one does outros anymore. But I remember like you'd have the music build up at the end of the video and then the beat drop and it would cut to the outro. And I remember there were times back when I was using Sony Vegas on bad computer, it took 4 hours to render a video. And the video would render out and then I'd play it and I'd notice the beat drop with the outro was like a 1/10 of a second, 1/4 of a second off. And I was like, no, unbelievable. Like, who's going to subscribe to this amateur stuff? And then I would go and I would re-render the whole video, take another 4 hours, be late on my upload just to make sure that beat drop was like on point.
Were you like talking to other people about it at the time, or was it
no?
Like,
so
not
this
a cool
was
thing and you like weren't talking about it.
COD montage days was like grade 9, grade 10 in high school, and like. But like kind of like the preface like school and stuff. Like I was like, because I know you guys both did really well in school. I was not so much that case. I was very much just playing. I vividly remember. I have very strong memory of in year 11 or year 10 there was a super important like math exam the next day, and I was failing math at the time. And it was the last semester. I think I was on a D+, and that's a fail. C- is a pass. I was on a D+, and I needed to get like a C+ on this next one to just bring me up on this like, and it was some just like useless like what was it like parabola standard deviation.
Parabola, bro.
Standard deviation. It was something more useless than standard deviation. It was something that you don't even use today. Like you haven't thought about it since you've done it type deal. And like I remember that night before the exam, new Call of Duty Zombies map came out. And like this is back in the day when I was hard on zombies, and you'd have to wait like months in between for a DLC. And this was did you play Zombies, Elliott?
Like, dude, watching like Syndicate back in the day.
Yeah, legit.
Like just run
Kino
to Toten. Yeah, the trains.
Yeah.
The trains.
So not Kino to Toten, not the space station one, the one where it was like in Siberia and there was that director who had like the lightning rod pole in the pond. It was like snowy.
And and like he comes out and you have to like fight him. And
so that map came out and I saw the trailers and I was so excited because like America had all the trailers come out, like, you know, new COD Zombies map comes out. But I had a math exam the next day. I remember telling my parents, like, the math exam's actually in 2 days, because they're like, don't you have an exam to study for? And I was like, no, it comes out in 2 days. Like, it's 2 days away. We're chilling. Downloaded COD Zombies, played it all night till like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Like, had to like turn the lights off type deal.
Yeah.
And then woke up the next morning at like 5, 6 a.m. And then like tried to like cram before and the exam was in the morning too. It was like at 9 a.m. I remember cramming with all my friends, just being like, yo, so like, how do we do this? And I'm like, I haven't had much sleep. I've been playing zombies all night. I was having so much fun playing zombies. And then I think I got like a C-, but overall I failed the grade for that year. Because I was playing zombies all night.
My nerdy previous self is like
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, but
I'm just
like you beat the boss, right, Lucky? Because then,
but like, you know what
worth
I mean? I
it,
think we
you
got
know?
like round 18, round 19.
bro,
I
like-
was watching them do the Easter egg. Like these guys used to like try and solve the Easter egg.
where you got
right
like
as the bat comes out.
where there's like Richtofen like talking through the door. I remember.
Yeah, downstairs on the lighthouse. Yeah. Like I was watching him do it. I was like, oh, this is sick. Like let's try and like get a lobby going. Like try and do it because I had like some online friends at the time. And dude, no regrets. Like because that was year 11. That wasn't even year 12. Like you know what I mean? I did that in year 12.
Right after we've just told all the pro players to stay in school, guys. Like it's really important. Like have a balanced life.
Yeah, but like
the
that.
record.
But they've never been around when COD Zombies.
But there is a new COD Zombies coming out.
Yeah, there actually is. I'm keen for it.
Yeah, so maybe do your math exams for that though.
Were you like talking to other people? Were you telling your friends that like, hey, yeah, I'm uploading these videos?
Yeah, no, fully incognito. Like definitely like. I think, the first time one of my friends actually ever like found out about it was it was during the Craft Battle Duty channel. Like all my high school stuff, no one ever knew about because I just like did it on my own type deal. And like, I think I got like a couple hundred viewers, but nothing crazy. And then I did the Craft Battle Duty channel. And I think, the first time one of my friends found out, he came over, Taylor, when I met Taylor, came over randomly. And I didn't expect him at all. He just came over to like say what's up. I think we were going out that night for a party or something. And I was working really hard on like my Minecraft server at the time, my Pixelmon server. And he comes through and he just sees me playing Pixelmon. He's like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, yeah. So this is what I've been doing. I had like on the spot be like, yeah, like, so this is kind of the vibes. And I think I had like 300 subs at the time. So like not a lot of subs at all, but so they've kind of been there from like the start of that channel and stuff.
Why do you feel like you didn't used to want to tell people about it? Like what do you think has changed over the last 10 years?
So that's definitely changed because like you've got kids in high school competing, like all of our players in high school playing for all this online money. Like that's got to be cool, right? Like going back to school and being like, I just won the cash cup last night, like just took home $500. Like kids are gonna be like, oh, that's sick. Like but like I suppose they didn't have that back then. But I don't know, there's something about like playing Minecraft back then when you were like 17 wasn't cool. I feel like there's something like that.
No, 100%.
Like,
playing games back then wasn't cool. Like it actually wasn't.
No, it wasn't cool.
Like everyone did it, but no one would like talk about it. It was like it was a weirdly closeted thing. Whereas now it's like, oh yeah, bro, like I'm like cracked at Fortnite. Like I like place tens in the tournament on the weekend. Everyone's like, oh bro, that's insane, that's sick. Whereas back in our day, like, everyone would be like, nerd. Yeah,
nerd. That's the one. Nerd. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the like because I used to have like days played. Like I'd add all my friends on Xbox and I'm on Warfare 2. It'd show you time played in the barracks section. And like one of them was like, dude, like, how come you have so much time played? Like I had like a month played.
What?
Like, realistically, and they're all like maybe like a couple days play time, like max type deal. And I'm like, oh, I share that account with my brother. Didn't share my account with my brother. Like,
dude, I remember on Black Ops 1, like looking at my like combat record, and it was like 10 and a half days played, and I was like, oh bro, I've got problems, man. Like this is fucked up. Like I need to get a life.
Yeah.
Like a month though, god damn, that's impressive.
Nah, a month over a year, but yeah, no.
A month over a
like
year.
12th of the year. Yeah,
That's literally
so
2 hours a day every single day.
Yeah, but yeah, that sounds about right. Like on the weekends, bump that up to like 6-8. Like, dude, I loved COD. I don't love it anymore though. I actually don't like it at all. You couldn't catch me playing a new COD.
It's the skill-based matchmaking. It's so tuned up now.
Not even that.
Really? I
still didn't like Warzone before they added it. Like,
I still like COD, but I can only play Warzone if I'm playing with a good squad. Like I need to be playing with a squad who like I can like chill with, because as soon as like I have to stress out and like carry people, I can't have fun anymore. I just want to mess around.
Nah.
Yeah. I want to throw tomahawks at people.
And so when you were starting to make these videos and, you know, you had 300 subscribers, like, were you thinking at that point, oh, okay, I can make something of this? Or like, is there a moment where you remember you were like, oh, that was like a taste of like, maybe I could take this seriously, or maybe I can like see myself actually being able to do that?
I remember my first video I uploaded got 100 views, by the way. Like my first ever video on my channel got 100 views in a day. Or no, it was 72 or 73 views in a day. And I remember being like, because I'd made my channels before in the past, right? And they didn't get many views at all. And I was like, 70 views in a day on a brand new channel. Like, that's crazy. So like, and then I did the second one, and then the first one would be on like 200 now. My first one would be on like 80 views in a day. And just watching that, like I was more addicted to that like kind of building than I was.
I feel like we've talked about that so much on the podcast. Is like the
still
numbers
applicable to this day, really. When you get a successive row of building views, like.
And then the depression when you have a successive rows of 8, 9s, and 10s.
Yeah, look, we kind of in one of those right now, but like you just gotta look past them because like.
Yeah, 100%. But also like, you know what else is interesting is like back then, I think in those early days, like the numbers are real. Like in the sense you think about what that number means. You're like 1,000 people. You're like, bro, that's like a whole assembly hall at school watched my video. Like I remember they were like and then I get to like 50,000 views and I'm like, oh my god, bro, that's like an MCG. That's like the biggest stadium in the state filled with people watching my video. Whereas these days, like the number isn't even a number anymore. I feel like I don't assign an actual understanding of what it is. It's a benchmark based off my last video. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's the out of 10. It's the out of 10.
It's the out of 10
for sure. You hate to see it.
In a way,
it is really sad. You see the memes on like all the creators on Twitter now, like memeing the 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s, 1 out of 10s. Like it's kind of a meme at this point, but it's actually a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's amazing that you remember. Like I had like 75 views on my first.
Yeah, I definitely think it was like in the 70s. Could be 72, 73, but it was definitely in the 70s. I was like
the fact that you're like sure down to the down to the 10 subscribers, like you're like it was in the 70s, whereas now, like I'm sure if I asked you like, oh, what did your like first video of the last season of Fortnite get, like you probably wouldn't know.
Yeah, couldn't tell you at all. You definitely like the first ones definitely mean the most, definitely. You never forget those. But yeah, like I think like go back to your original question of like when you thought like it was something. So like very early on, I think I had 2,000 subscribers, which was like, I think I was getting like, maybe I'd upload a video and in 24 hours, I'd have like 700, 800, 900 views. So which was good. But like
if you were in the machinima, that'd be like a whole $4.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. These are all unmonetized views. Like back then you couldn't actually get paid. I don't think we had to do like a kind of hard process to get paid, through networks and whatnot. But yeah, I wanted to. So the server I was playing Pixelmon on, the guys that like own the server were being like Jags to me. Like Jags isn't like this old school word we used to use, but they were just being like, I want to use a bad word, but they just weren't nice to me. All right, they weren't nice to me at all. I was like, I'm giving you server promotion. I get 700 views. They're like, we don't care, yada yada. I was like, all right, screw you guys. I'm gonna make my own server, and I did. And then I made it better than theirs. And I spent so long working on this like Pixelmon Minecraft server with like a bunch of like people online, and then a few Pixelmon devs from back in the day, and made like a sick server, really awesome Pixelmon server that I actually like played it myself off screen and on as like a series. Mm-hmm. And like we tried to do it where like you'd have actual people be gym leaders like they would in the Pokemon world. Like you in the video games, you had like Brock and Misty as the gym leaders and stuff. But in our server, they were like actual people, and they would have Pokemon that they use in the gym. You get your gym badges. You go to Elite Four. Like made like a story within the Pixelmon server. That's what I think a lot of people played on it. And then we like sold like premium things on the server as well, like ranks and stuff like that. And I remember like the first day we launched it, when we launched our the ranks and stuff like that, I think it made like $300 in a day. And this is around when I had 200 subscribers, right? 2,000 subscribers. And like it made $300 a day. I was like, wait, what? Like, that's a lot of money. And then I think like a fortnight later, there was a week where I made $1,000 in a day. And I was like, wow. Oh, shit. Yeah. And I think I had like 3,000 subscribers, maybe 3.5. And yeah, I made $1,000 in a day. And I was like, wow. So that was the point where I had like a chat with my parents. I was like, because I was at university at the time, and I just finished my first term, and I was like, I'm taking a gap year, and they're like, no, you're not, because one of my family has a university degree. Like both my parents don't, neither of my sisters don't, and my brother doesn't either. He was obviously too young at the time. Like I was gonna be the first to have a university degree, and they were like kind of set in that. So like they were like, you're not like doing that, and I was like, look, spend $1,000 in a day. I'm gonna run this up for like 6 months. I'm gonna work really hard on it, like on both like my YouTube channel and on like the server side thing. And then they were like, okay, we'll give you like the 6 months. And then by the 6 months of that first deferral, I built my channel up to like 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And there was like really good cash flow from the server. So I was like, I am just going to keep on doing this. And then 7 years later, here we are.
You know what I think is really, really cool about that is that like a lot of the time kind of finding like tertiary income, like other ways to monetize your following and you know, do those like build extra businesses on top of YouTube is seen as like a very like late game YouTube thing. It's something that the people who, you know, they've got millions of subscribers, they've been doing it for years, they've got a huge audience, they understand the industry, blah, 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 blah. That's a lot of the time when they go on to try and like build, you know, kind of like you with Team Power or whatever. But like, you know, that's normally when people look to expand outside their making videos every day kind of bubble. But Minecraft was unique in that was actually a thing that a lot of channels, like you were saying, with 2,000-3,000 subscribers, you were like on that so early in terms of like getting all that stuff set up. And it just, I mean, I'm guessing that without that kind of early income coming in, because you probably couldn't have convinced your parents, or you probably wouldn't have felt as comfortable dropping uni and going all in on YouTube if you didn't have that income that like let you kind of get that certainty early on.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like the thing with back then is like, I mean, the funniest part about it is I only did it because these guys banned me from their server. So thank you very much. Like that was like the kind of push to do it. I wasn't going to do it otherwise.
Do you know what they're doing now?
I don't know. I don't know who they are. Like I got banned from the server. I think like that first video that I made on my channel, like that server, like the Alpine server, whatever it was, like I got banned from it. I was like, all right, I'll make my own. Like,
I'd be wanting to find those messages and like scroll back through and like send them a thanks.
I really should like send them a model or something, the Ace of Spades. But yeah, no. So like, but like having that mindset,
your little Lachlan YouTube,
little YouTubes. But like, yeah, like having that mindset from the start of like other businesses outside of YouTube, like having that as a first thing. So like ever since then, it's been like kind of always trying to find something else to do.
I feel like the Minecraft world was super unique with that though, with servers. I mean, I feel like servers are like an unknown thing. Like so many people in the community like know YouTubers, know gaming, but they have no idea how much these servers were able to monetize or are able to monetize, like even today, like crazy. Yeah. Just and like the community building. Because we had Preston on the podcast a few weeks ago and he was saying the same thing. He was like, it was really like Minecraft servers that made me think this could actually be a career.
Yeah, not 100%. And yeah, like Rob, like same deal. Servers with Preston, like that was kind of like the big thing back in the day. And now it's kind of like content creation, whereas like back then you could get away with bad content or not rough around the edges content. Like you get away with it. Just like how you could get away with bad servers back then. Like my server was great, but it was
nothing.
I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, like you can't go ahead and make a Minecraft server with 200 subs and do what I did.
Yeah,
like 7 years ago. You can't get away with that. It's like the need for like Minecraft servers, modern day Minecraft servers. I don't even play them, but I just watch people play them. They're insane. Like what they've been able to do with like all the plugins and stuff. Like all the actual people. Like because all that money did back in the day was just make people reinvest in hiring actual developers, like professional grade developers, instead of just people in university just putting code together. But yeah, it's been an interesting thing to monitor.
So,
sure.
I mean, like I'm conscious that this is the we're basically in we're at the 3,000 subscriber mark of your YouTube channel, and there's a lot to get through.
Yes.
So Minecraft was a bit of a big one back in the day, you could say. That was like I would say the only other thing that's compared with it since is really Fortnite. But Minecraft was a phenomenon. But
Minecraft
like,
still puts up a lot of views.
oh
so.
yeah, Minecraft never
But-
dies.
Yeah.
But
It's interesting.
over that time, like how long was the Minecraft life cycle for you? Like when you probably felt like you were reaching the point where you were either not necessarily totally stopping it, but moving out of it, and like how big had you grown to by the end of that kind of journey?
Yeah, so 2013 I did like exclusively like the Pokemon mod for Minecraft till about like 2015, 2016, and then I deviated. I met like Rob, and actually I'd say 2015. I met like Rob, Mitch, Jerome, Preston, like all those guys, and we just filmed all sorts of random Minecraft stuff. So like kind of deviated to not just that one mod, but everything else around Minecraft. And that was fun for a while. We'd just throw the bants, play like we like, it's crazy because like you also look back in those days, I was uploading 3 videos a day, and I remember like one day I uploaded 2, and I was like, you fake grinder, you uploaded 2 videos today. Like, what are you? Like, look at yourself in the mirror. What are you uploaded 2 videos today?
Do you even
Like,
want
kidding
this?
me? You don't even want this. You uploaded 2. And you know, funny thing was, the 2 videos actually did better than the 3 videos the day before. And then I was like, wait a second. Maybe the key is not to work harder, but to work smarter and do like 2 videos per day. And it's funny because it's my whole YouTube career is starting from a solid 3 videos per day, and over every year, videos per day has decreased. And like I'm at like maybe I might upload once every 2 days right now. Like I think once a day is probably like the key for like a Fortnite scene. I can't do daily right now. You can't do daily right now.
I can't do daily right now.
Definitely can't do daily right now. My boy Fresh doing daily right now. I give him 2 more months before he loses it, because it's just getting to that point where you can't do daily Fortnite videos. I was thinking about this the other day. You can't do daily Fortnite videos anymore unless you're so new to the scene and your perspective of the game is completely different.
Not if you want to do anything even semi-unique. Like I remember
that
it took a while, and I don't think we really hit it until now. And it's weird that we hit it in a season that comparatively has actually had quite a few updates.
Yes.
But I remember, and granted, like Fortnite's done a great job of staving this off, because most games don't make it 3 years when they're, you know, kind of like multiplayer like this. I remember hitting this point with Overwatch where it's like, what video am I going to record today? And it's like, literally the only thing I can do is go back, look at what I recorded 2 years ago, and remake a video idea from back then. There is not really anything unique you can do at the moment in Fortnite, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. It's the state of it. I mean, there's
and even the unique.
I feel like the next season might be good.
I think that's a good point, though. I feel like something that I find to be like super unique and that I really respect about you is you obviously a huge portion of your audience now knows you from Fortnite. That's like, you know, your bread and butter at the moment. But you were one of the first really big channels coming out of Australia, I think. And you've pivoted hard multiple times in a way that like not many other channels have done. Like to go from like Pixelmon stuff to the Minecraft stuff to like PokemonGo was a huge phase.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that yet. Yeah.
And then you pivoted again to Fortnite. Like, how do you feel like they're major pivots as well? It's not like you're even in the same kind of game genre. Like you're totally bouncing.
Yeah.
How do you feel
the
like you've been
PokemonGo
able to,
one?
Navigate those phases.
So
It's
and
You go
what
about it.
I was just gonna quickly say, and what was the real thing that made you be like, okay, now I'm gonna wrap up on Minecraft and go to PokemonGo?
Yeah, so PokemonGo was pretty organic for me. I feel like I loved Pokemon as a kid. That's why I loved Pixelmon like so much, because it brought together like my current favorite game, Minecraft, and my old school favorite game, Pokemon. So I was like, this is perfect, because I remember seeing the trailer and be like, whoa, that's sick. Like catch Pokemon phone, like down for that. When's that coming out? Oh, a couple months. All right, keep tabs on that. Comes out first in Australia, and this is key because it didn't come out anywhere else in the world yet. Like they did a soft launch in Australia as like a smaller region. So I literally on the midnight when it updated on the App Store, I saw someone on Twitter tweeted out like PokemonGo coming out this week. And like I looked it up on my computer. I was like, oh, it actually comes out today in Australia. So I was like, this was midnight. I call my friend Jay over. I'm like, yo, Jay, I need like a cameraman to like help me film this. Like Pokemon goes. My friend Jay loved Pokemon as well. So he was like, dude, this sounds sick. Let's do it. So that night, went outside like on the streets of like my like parents' house and just went around catching Pokemon at midnight. Before it was like that mainstream phenomenon thing. Like it literally just come out. And I absolutely loved it. I was like going around catching Charmanders. I was catching like Caterpies. I was reliving like the OG days. So much fun. And I uploaded that to YouTube, sent off my editor, uploaded it to YouTube. I remember going to bed, posting the video, waking up, and it had like 300, 400, I think I had 400,000 views. And I had been getting around 30 to 40,000 views per video at that time on Minecraft. So I was just like so ready to just something else to just take my time away. And plus like, it was just like fun, like going outside was something I do miss because that was fun. Overnight, like I literally just picked it up because like the insane viewership was there. I enjoyed it. It was just a no-brainer, really.
You had the views, you had the passion again.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the trifecta.
Yeah, literally. So did that for about the problem was the developers of the game, I don't know what they were doing. Like I remember having conspiracy theories at the time that like Pokemon were like strangling them because like they didn't want the game to take off too much. Like that's what my leading conspiracy theory was at the time, because I was like, you've got so much money right now, like dumb money.
100%. That actually blew my mind.
Yeah.
We knew how much money they were making.
Yeah.
And I barely even played the game. I was just watching it from like a third party standpoint.
Yeah.
But I was like, I have never seen a developer
throw a bag
is making this much money
Yeah.
and is somehow throwing away so much money by not making more money.
Yeah.
Like you saw Epic, like with Fortnite overnight.
Yeah.
Like they
Real
were like
grinders.
updating it, they were doing little things. Then all of a sudden, when they realized they were getting traction,
Yeah.
they were just absolutely sending it. They were getting developers in, they were updating
Yeah.
weapons. They were like bam, bam, bam. You could tell they were just gunning because they knew they finally had something good.
And that's the
PokemonGo.
difference. Like Pokemon Go could
Yeah.
have extrapolated out to a 2-year game. They're actually having a bit of an upbeat right now. Like a lot of like people coming back to the game, which you will at the end of the day because it is Pokemon. But like they could have been in the position where Fortnite is. Like they fake grinded it hard. But I
Also,
like
that
you what?
that episode 1 now has 19 million views. Just thought you should.
Oh damn! There you go. Run it back. OG days. Like that's it. That's when I first came out. You know, it's history right there.
Yeah, but they threw it. You're right. They threw it.
They threw the bag hard, and and they announced Gen 2. Because I'm not even kidding. You can look at my Social Blade. The game came out. I hit 100 million views that month, which is the first time I'd ever even come close to it. And I was vibing, and it just goes down, like straight down to 30, I think, the next month. And not because I wasn't uploading. I was uploading every day, but it was just the same thing over and over again. There was no new content. There was nothing to do. And their biggest problem was that they didn't flesh out any kind of battle system or anything. And then they came out with Gen 2, and there was kind of like a little bit of a revival in it. And I got around it hard. I tried to bring it back, but like I remember like during those first 3 weeks of Pokemon Go, I was getting like 1 million views per video minimum. And like Gen 2 came out, I think I got 1 million on the first, and then it was like consistent 300 to 400k, which is still good, which like was happy with. I think the nail in the coffin for me for Pokemon Go was Pokemon Go Fest. So they did like a thing in Chicago where they did like this big Pokemon Go Fest. It was like the first time they were going to have legendaries in the game. It was like their raid systems. And just like, you can look it up, but like you got to the park, no one could play Pokemon Go because they underestimated the amount of traffic all those phones would cause. So you'd go there to play Pokemon Go and you couldn't.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
like,
I remember there were like cell phones, like the companies were literally having to like refocus their cell phone towers
to try and get it
to get people connected. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy, absolutely crazy. But then I remember there was like there was a weird point for you, right? Between like, because you were probably like still riding the Pokemon Go wave for what, like 6 or 8 months roughly, right?
Yeah, so wait, when did I, because I remember meeting up with you in like Germany for Gamescom.
I remember that's the point where you were.
I was hard in Pokemon Go at that point, I think.
you were still hard in Pokemon Go, but I think you were like frustrated because the views were dying pretty
Yeah,
rapidly.
I think that was like the start of the
remember.
decline. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the views were going down, and I remember you were really frustrated. And then I remember it was that next like 6 months where you were, and I was not in a totally dissimilar boat because I was kind of on the tail end of the Overwatch train. Like Overwatch had been out for a bit then. I was struggling with video ideas. It was still doing okay for views. It was still like a solid 500,000, 600,000 a video.
Yeah.
But it was like definitely on the ideas front and on the actual enjoying doing it front, way on the out. And I remember you were feeling like that, and I was feeling like that. You were starting to dip back into variety games as well.
Yeah.
About like this is the year after Pokemon Go came out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, 2017 you started dipping back into variety, yeah?
Yeah, so 2017, because that's when Fortnite came out at the end of 2017. Yeah, so about like
Yeah.
early, I remember for New Year's, for 2016, 2017 New Year's, I was in Japan and I was still filming Pokemon Go. It was second gen. I was actually having a lot of fun. That was actually a little bit of a revival for me as like creative, like spirit kind of thing, because there was a Pokemon in Japan, Farfetch'd, you could only catch in Asia. So like that was kind of cool. It was like new content, one Pokemon, kind of nuts. That's all you needed back then. But yeah, so that was cool. And then like February, January, I think March is when they did Pokemon Go Fest. So like that's when I was like, yeah, no, this is on the way out kind of deal. I could be wrong with that date though. And then like around June was when I started doing like the variety game. I was doing a lot of VR. I was just like really testing the waters with everything and seeing which bit the most. And I had like decent success with actually a few random games. I definitely could have just stuck for our variety. It's getting like good 100, 200,000 views.
How did you navigate that mentally? Like, because you've had so many, you know, like peaks and then some troughs, and like you'd obviously come off a massive peak from Pokemon Go and then feeling that go down. Like, it's not easy. You know, I noticed at the start you were just like, oh, you know, the 10 out of 10s, you just got to ride it out and know it'll pass.
Yeah.
But like back then, 3 years ago, have you always been able to have that mentality? Because that's not easy. Like, were you nervous? Because Fortnite hadn't come out? Were you trying to figure out, were you confident you'd be able to find the next thing? Or...
Yeah, no, it was, and I didn't want to go back to Minecraft. I was still burnt out. Like I tried to do some Minecraft, but like just didn't feel, I think the views were good, but it just didn't feel good for me. Like I just knew that I'd end up in the same kind of way that I did before Pokemon Go. Because I like saw Pokemon Go as an out from Minecraft because I was just done with the game at that point. But yeah, it's definitely like a rough couple months. And I remember like the views going down and down and down and just being like, oh, well, you know, I remember like, because we met up at PAX that year. I think right around Fortnite came out. Like, I think Fortnite just came out type deal.
Yeah.
At 2017 PAX.
It'd been out for like a month or so, I think.
Yeah, but like your ninjas and stuff weren't blowing up yet. Like, it was very New Days type deal.
I think it was basically me and Elliott at that point on YouTube.
I don't even think Elliott was on it hard though yet.
No, Elliott actually, this is something I credit him for. He realized the views were, him and I both, it took about a month before we were hard committing on it.
Yeah.
But there was like a solid month there where, and I remember he actually started doing daily on it before I did.
Yeah.
And it was him doing daily on it. It was him doing daily on it where I was just like, what am I doing, dude? Like, why am I still trying to do Overwatch when I'm not enjoying it and Fortnite's getting more views? I'm going to do Fortnite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember, we were chatting at PAX about Fortnite.
Yeah, we chatted at PAX about Fortnite because I was like very much just like scatterbrained, just trying anything that kind of worked. I think that was the worst. I think before Fortnite was definitely the lowest. You know what? Let me check my social blade. It's crazy because we don't want to validate ourselves with views, but we do it every day.
I know I'm reinforcing unhealthy habits here, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I definitely, you know, a moment that I really remember though is actually, it would have been January of 2018, and Lockie, you came down to Sydney for the Post Malone concert.
Oh yeah.
And I remember we were in Elliott's kitchen, like having a drink before, and it was early January, must have been like January 6th or something. And I remember both of you had this moment and you were like, I think this year is going to be Fortnite.
Yeah.
And like Elliott, you'd obviously been doing it a lot in December. You were doing double uploads of Overwatch and Fortnite. And I remember you were like, yeah, I'm just going to go balls to the wall on Fortnite. And Lucky, you were the same.
Yeah.
Like I have that as like a clear
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
moment.
I remember that. I think Marcus was when we went to Marcus.
Marcus was there too.
Yeah. No, like, yeah, definitely. And like, I remember like that one of the big things for like switching to Fortnite, and this is what I love about like the story of how Fortnite blew up, and I think no one talks about, is that they actually paid creators for their first video. And it was kind of like...
My first Fortnite video was sponsored, baby.
Yeah, first video was sponsored. And like, it just goes to show that if you have a good product and you pay people for it, it can organically grow into something bigger. Like, that's like, and I feel like everyone's tried to do that kind of like with other games, other brands, but I feel like the game just hasn't lived up to kind of like, I feel like if Fall Guys did it, it would have had the same kind of effect. Although now it's kind of like you look back at it, it's kind of like a flash in the pan. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, Fall Guys really was. Fall Guys was weird, man. That died so fast.
It really did.
And to be beaten by Among Us of all things. Literally, Among Us took Fall Guys like spot as the alternate game to whatever the mainstream games are.
Yeah.
As like the variety game.
Yeah.
Out of
so
nowhere.
Crazy.
Wild.
That's a whole other bag of worms there. But yeah, no, so like just going straight, I think we did like a couple videos around like December, November that year, 2017 of like Fortnite.
And I remember because you were coming from Minecraft, you like shooters was so not your
I was
thing,
such a bot,
which
dude.
is like
such a bot.
It's so fun. It's actually like it's really, really, you know, like credit to you. Like I'd been playing shooters for like 4 or 5 years before that. I was like TF2, then Overwatch. So like, but I remember you came in, and obviously initially you were like a big bot. But I remember you went through like you went through a phase though. I remember you went through a phase where you were just like, nah, I'm like going to get good.
Yeah.
And like this was obviously not season 1. This was probably like season 4.
It's like season 5, season 6, where season 4. Like
you just started absolutely putting in hours, and then creative came out and you were putting in hours, and it was just like, I remember there was like a point where I was like very clearly better, and then there was a point where it was getting quite similar, and then there was a point where you definitely pulled ahead. Like, because you were just absolutely sending it in creative mode.
No, but I do remember, like, back in the day when we would play, I'd be, like, lucky to get a kill type deal. Like, I would actually be such a bot. Like, it'd be bad. And, like, the thing was, because we kind of, like, I reckon it was definitely, like, you and me that, like, invented, like, the whole challenge video wave, back in the day. And so, like, doing those challenge videos, like, I gotta find the footage. But, like, I remember doing, like, the dumb ones. Like, we did, like, the Science Pistol challenge together and stuff. But, like, it got to a point where we had to do like the challenge videos on your own for them to have impact. Because you and me do it, like we could probably do that 1 out of every 2 games. But like if you did it on your own, now you're talking like 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20. And I was so bad. I remember doing like 12-hour shoots over multiple days, like just trying to get that dub. Like there's one on my channel, I remember it. It's like the vending machine only challenge. But like I didn't fake grind it. It was like everything that I did had to be from the vending machine. So like meds, I had to get my minis from the vending machine. This was back when they weren't like very good either. You could only like, they were very expensive and you had to try and find the certain colors and they weren't 100% spawns. And I remember getting a dub with like 11 kills and feeling on top of the world. I was like, no way I've done this. Like 14 hours in the making, just done it, wrap it up, put it on YouTube, bangs hard. It's just like, that was the vibes.
You know what I really miss about like all that first year of Fortnite was when like every day, like I remember like you, me, and Lannon and like and Vic, I think as well. We used to literally have like our group Twitter chat was called like List Gang. Because whenever there were updates or when everything with things, like people would have like video ideas of what they wanted to do. And somebody like, I'm gonna, you know, build up to max height with the new like low gravity thing, and then jump from the top, and then get the final elim. Someone's like, no, bro, that's already on my list. Like,
it's on my list. Like, you can't do it. It's on my list.
I listed that. Like that was the dumbest fucking thing. I don't know why we did that. It was so toxic.
It's a good meme because
it was such a good meme.
Like,
bro.
I
what do you
remember.
mean it's on your list? It's like, bro, that's so obvious. You can't list that because that's saying I'm gonna win with the new gun. Like that, you can't list that. That's too obvious.
No one even tries to list gang stuff in 2020. It's so
list
like
gang because there's nothing.
I remember
to list. There's nothing.
Elliott. I remember Elliott like at one point trying to explain to me the concept of the list gang because I was like, Elliott would get salty about it because he'd be like, oh, I had this idea and then Lockie said it was on his list. And I was like, so like talk me through this. I'm like, is there like a Google Doc and like you can go back and like check when someone edited the Google Doc and like they put their idea in the list before yours? And he was like, no, it's just like a metaphorical list. You know, it's like I keep mine on a note on my computer. I'm like, well, how does anyone know what's on your list? They're like, because I say. I'm like, well, why is no one?
Oh, I never even wrote it down. I just kept it in my head. Like if I ever had like a list gang idea, it was in my head. Like I did not write that down. Like I didn't need to write it down. It was in here. Like list gang.
Yeah, but then you just say it was on your list, and people would be like, "Was it though?" You'd be like, "Yeah."
Oh, but I mean, it was always on my list. It was on my mind, my list, but like it wasn't written down anywhere. Just all you need, you know. But yeah, no, that was a fun time. The OG Fortnite days was good. And you look back
when you had enough ideas to have a list.
But there was just like it was so good because like there was just like there were actually so many ideas you physically couldn't keep up with them. Like an update would come out or something would happen, or you'd literally wake up one day and you'd be like, oh my god, I've got like these 4 absolutely banger ideas. But the problem is someone else might have those ideas too. Which one do I do first? Because which one's going to bang the most, and I don't want someone to do the one that's going to bang the most before I do it. You actually had too many ideas. Yeah. Like just even the really dumb shit. Do you remember hiding in mushrooms?
Yeah,
we found I think Lockie did that first.
Yeah,
he found out there were these mushrooms that were just like a little bit big, and you could sit inside them. So you go a yellow skin, and you sit inside these yellow mushrooms, and you were basically invisible. Just like,
and then they made the mushrooms smaller anymore. Like 2 weeks later.
They literally nerfed mushrooms because of us.
Took my mushies away from me. Nah, there was just so much stuff, and like. I try to think what Fortnite can do to do that, and I don't think they can do that anymore. Like it's just like this physical limitation. Yeah.
So that's what I was gonna say. I was like, what do you feel like is next? Like, do you feel like Fortnite's your end game? And like, obviously you've got power, and that's so connected to Fortnite right now, and you're just gonna stick it out, or are you at that point now where you're like, what else could I play?
Like, that's a good question. I definitely am dabbling a little bit in Among Us, like, you know, diversifying a little bit. They're doing all right. Like, I think, like, sometimes... Let me check. I think my Among Us did... Yeah, my Among Us did the same views as my Fortnite video.
Yeah.
So, like, I've got, like, another one coming out, like, this week that we did with, like, the Cybermen and stuff. Just testing the waters with that, diversifying a little bit. But I don't think Among Us will be a long-term game. I think it'll be another Fall Guys 2.0.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think Among Us is pretty clearly, like, it's not like when Fortnite was blowing up and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be the year of Fortnite. This can be the next big thing.
Yeah.
It's like Among Us is absolutely going to be a, like, you know, maybe here for another month.
Here for another month.
No way.
You're going to get sick of hearing XQC rage over someone for not doing their tasks.
Yeah.
Like,
everyone's going to get sweatier.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to get sweatier. All the memes are going to be done. And then.
Yeah. And then we're going to go find something else to meme. And. Yeah, that's definitely... I don't know. I feel like Fortnite goes either two ways. They keep doing this consistent refresh kind of thing every season with new guns, new damage values, maybe a different new mechanic here and there. Or they completely turn right and just change the whole game. Like, change something that's so crucial to the game that makes it Fortnite that it's no longer Fortnite. Which...
I mean, like, I think my perspective that I always tell Grace is like, I feel like you can't plan ahead. You can't be like I could in no way say right now Fortnite's my end game. Like, this will be my last big game.
Yeah.
Because if you'd asked, you know, like me or Lockie, like before, like a month before Fortnite Battle Royale came out, we probably would have been like, yeah, it's just going to be like a variety year. Like, there's nothing big coming. Then bam, all of a sudden something drops out of nowhere. It's all people want to watch. It's all people want to play. And it's the next big game.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's basically like YouTube. It's very hard to actually be super ahead.
Yeah.
Or like plan ahead. You can kind of have your like underlying strategy and ideas, but you got to kind of stay pretty flexible.
Yeah, you got to stay flexible. And like, I'm probably doing it wrong in the sense that I'm not staying as flexible as I should be, but I still love playing Fortnite. Like I hop on like my daily schedule, head into the gym, do like a light workout, little stretch, come in here, get a dub. That's kind of my daily schedule. Get a dub, and then I love playing
Have a
Fortnite.
coffee, get a dub.
Sorry.
Have a coffee, get a dub.
Have a coffee, get a dub. It's kind of like the morning ritual. It's good too because like keeps me sharp in a way. for like when I do videos, but it's also bad because there's probably some elo type SBMM where like if you win, your next game's gonna be harder to win type deal. There's definitely some of that in the background.
I have noticed my first games of the day at the moment on Fortnite are outrageously easy. Outrageously easy.
Yeah.
So like, and if I mess up a challenge video that I'm trying to do on game 1, it's like I either get it on game 1 or 2, which are the easy games, or I'm going to be there for 4 hours.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've noticed that. I just based on my like amount of time playing the game for like the last 6 months, I can definitely tell you, because it got leaked that EA had something like it in their games, right? They had some kind of formula where if you win one game, your next game's going to have much harder opponents. But then you win a game in like a certain amount of time that it like replenishes like your need to play another game type deal. Like
I notice if I lose enough games in a row, it gives me easy games.
Yeah, that's
like I've had a couple of days. Yeah, I've had a couple of days where I go into like deep depression trying to get a challenge done, and I just can't do it. And then like after I've lost maybe like 30, 40 games in a row, I get put in a lobby with nothing but bots.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, okay.
Easy
like,
games.
That's so sad.
It's literally night and day. It's literally like a switch being turned on and off. It's not even subtle. It's not like, oh, I feel like the players are a little bit. It's like, no. All of a sudden, these people can't even walk in straight lines. Like,
legit. But no, it's just how it is. But like I said, I love playing Fortnite, but I could see something rivaling it in the next couple of years. You know what I think is probably the biggest threat? Pokemon making an actual good game. I feel like...
Dude, it is insane how much they struggle at doing that.
Yeah, it's just something over Nintendo. What are they doing?
Wait, let's get into the Pokemon stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
Last question, though, on the game, just before we go Pokemon stuff. What's the one that I'm trying to think of? Hytale. Do you think Hytale has potential?
100%.
Because that's actually my...
We've been saying that for years, though. When we saw the trailer, we were like...
Dude, you've literally been saying that since 2018.
They delayed it.
We've been saying it, but they don't release the freaking game, so we don't know.
And now it makes it
we need them to release the game.
Like, is that good that it's delayed? Like, I don't know. Is it bad? Probably bad. I don't know.
Apparently 2021.
2021. That'll be an interesting one. That's the only one that's like kind of on everyone's sites, and it's been on everyone's sites for a hot minute. I'll definitely play Hytale.
You know what I think the problem's going to be? It's not like Fortnite where you could get a lot of growth, a lot of traction early on, because it was one everyone slept on. No one realized that Fortnite Battle Royale was going to be the next big thing. So if you were in there in the first few months, you got huge because there were no content creators, millions of viewers. Hytale, that's going to come out day one. Everyone and their uncle is going to be playing that.
Which is going to be hard for the game itself, because if it's bad, it's going to be bad. And there's going to be no room for error, because everyone's going to be like, like, game's bad.
There'll be a spotlight on it.
Yeah, 100%. There will be a big spotlight on it. But it sounds like the trailer looks cool. Game looks cool.
Yeah.
Going to hit it up for sure.